Hi, and welcome to Create. My name is Mark, and today we're going to be making British fish and chips. It's a little different than the American fish and chips. It's all about the batter. So we're going to get into it, and we're going to take it to another level because we're going to be creating our own tartar sauce today. So before we get started, again, just make sure you subscribe, please, and make sure you click the notification button so you can get more videos. We're looking forward to showing you this recipe. I've been honing it down for years. My family loves it. My son is crazy. You would think he was from England. My daughters are, but he's not. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Let's go. Right, so here's the tartar sauce. To start it off from scratch, get some mayonnaise, about 3 tablespoons of mayonnaise, finely chopped onions or shallots. Um, and you just drop them in a bowl. The fun part about making it from scratch is that you can choose what you want to put in it as well. If you don't want the garlic, I've got garlic there. You don't have to use it. I've got some sweet relish and or some sweet gherkins. Either way is good. I use sweet gherkins here. You can also use some of the juice. And then some capers. It's going to add a nice saltiness to the tartar sauce as well. Um, those are good to have. And then we're going to fold in that parsley at the end here. And the next step is just to add some juice, some acid to cut everything as and get the citrus in there. So we've got the lemon, a half of a lemon that we're putting in here right now. And we're going to squeeze that in there and get all of that juice, that lovely lemon juice in there. And then what you're going to want to do is just add some salt and pepper. Um, Salt and pepper. Doesn't have to be whatever kind you got is fine. And just uh, just start slowly folding it in together, and then give it a good stir. And you can see that that's what we're doing right now. We're going to go ahead and stir it up. And we got some creamy tartar sauce, homemade from scratch. Anybody can do it, and it doesn't take a long time, which is beautiful. So after you mix it all up, you're going to want to just kind of put it in the fridge. You can probably store this for up to a couple weeks, but if not, then just use it for the one and then just dump it if you're never going to use it again. Um, but again, I tasted it at the end and it needed a little bit more seasoning. So I added some salt and pepper in it to taste, and it came out really good. It was very tasty. But again, it's up to your taste. So you make sure that you do it. Some people add other stuff in it too. They put dill in it or tarragon, but I didn't do this. This is just basic tartar sauce that you can make at home. And we'll just put it in the fridge and wait for our next step because we're going to be making the batter. Remember, I said the batter is very important. So you want to add the flours in. There's two flours. There's all-purpose flour, and then there's rice flour. You want to add probably a cup of the all-purpose and maybe 3/4 cup of the rice flour. You want to add a teaspoon of sugar, a teaspoon of baking powder. You want to add some salt in there to season it up a little bit. And you're going to want to, you know, this is the dry ingredient, so you're going to want to give it a little whisk or stir, um, because you're going to add wet to it. But what you're going to want to do, obviously, is when you're mixing anything, you're going to combine everything together. And to do this, you're going to want to make a little well in the center of the bowl. And I'm just doing that right there. And then we're going to start pouring in some beer. Um, Now, if you don't drink beer, you don't have to, but you probably had beer in your food before and didn't know it. But I'm using a combination of two things today to aerate this batter. So I've got a little lager beer. You can use any beer you want, and I've got some sparkling water. And so probably about 3/4 cup of the lager beer and a half a cup of the sparkling water. You want to slowly mix it and combine everything together, taking all the lumps out of the batter because you want the consistency, the batter, to have kind of a consistency of a pancake batter, if you know what I mean. If you don't, we did a pancake video, so you can look back uh, on some of our videos and you can see as far as the consistency goes. Anyway, um, you don't want to make pancakes; you just want the consistency of a pancake batter. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up the bowl a little bit and get it ready so we can put the fish into the batter. But a cool thing that I've learned over the years is that to get it the color that you really want it to be, you're going to want to add a little turmeric in there. The turmeric gives it the gold patina, the finish on the fish. So you want the turmeric in there. So I use probably about a half a tablespoon of it in there. So before we drop the fish in there, you'll see me doing that. But let's talk about the fish. The fish, these were just two large pieces of fish that I cut up into 7 pieces. Um, so, two large pieces will feed a family of 4 easily. Um, and you want to take the moisture out of the fish by putting salt on it, and some pepper, and the fish will stay firm. And then you want to go through the process of dusting the fish with some all-purpose flour. You can season your flour if you want to. I didn't because I seasoned the fish very good. So that's gonna be fine. Um, but you can do what you like with any of the recipes. You want to make them your own. You want to create. That's the beauty of what we're talking about here. So we want to put the fish into the dusting here of the flour, and then set the dusting platter away, and then bring in the bowl of the batter because the next thing you're going to want to do is start to fry. So I've got my oil heating up right now, probably to about 325 or medium high on your stove. And there's that turmeric I was talking about. And you want to get that in there because that's just a little trick of mine to get it the color that you want. Um, and I love that because turmeric is a very healthy and helps with inflammation, but it also, you can't even taste it in here. So we're going to go ahead and a lot of people set it aside for at least a half an hour or overnight just to get everything together. But the batter is the whole thing. So now we're just going to fry. We go ahead and dipped it in. We're going to take off the excess batter, wipe it on the side, and then just don't drop it in. You don't want anything to splatter. You're going to want to use a technique where you're just kind of going back and forth like it's swimming, and then you just kind of pull it away from you and then let it drop down. There you go. So we're going to cook on the first batch. We're just going to do the 3 pieces of fish. The last batch I did 4, which you won't have to see. But right here, you can see I've got it in the skillet and it's frying. You see the kind of tickle that or the bubbles that are coming up there. That's what you want to see when you're frying anything, especially when you're trying to get a crispy exterior on your fish. This technique that I'm using here is just keeping the top of it frying and cooking at the same time that the bottom is as well. So you can do this and that'll keep everything golden and it'll achieve what you want as far as the look of it and it's going to taste fantastic. So um, go ahead and just let it fry. And after a while, you want to fry it for up to about 8 to 10 minutes. And then, you want to flip it halfway through. So about 4 to 5 minutes in, you can actually start flipping it over. Keep doing the technique with the spoon and the oil on the top, and get comfortable with your recipe. And you can see now that it looks as though that it's about ready to take out. So let's go ahead and take it out, drain it on the paper towel or on a screen, baker screen, and just let it drip down. Immediately when it comes out of the fryer, though, I put a little salt on the exterior because, well, it's hot like that, it will accept the salt and it'll go right in. That's why I didn't season the dredge. And so with the chips, you can use a Yukon Gold potato, which these are not. These are russet potatoes, but a lot of people use the Yukon Gold. I just use what I had. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these up into chips. And you can see I cut off the ends to make them kind of even. And so the portions are kind of coming out the same. And so you've got your chips on the board now. I've washed the potato off, but I'm not going to use any more water on them. I'm just going to pat them down. I want them a little starchy because it'll get them crispier if you leave a little starch on there. So they're clean, and we're just going to go ahead and chop up this last potato. And the potato, I just start in the center, and then I just start cutting from there and make my chips. They're not French fries. That's what we have in America. They call them chips, and they get offended for some reason when we call them French fries. So let's not do that. We're going to enjoy this. Um, and we're going to get ready to actually put these in the fryer. And the last technique that we're going to show you today is a double fry. So, what is a double fry? You're trying to fry the chips to get them crispy on the outside, but tender and fluffy on the inside. So, you want to make them a little thicker. And to achieve that, you want to blanch these chips. So, you turn the fire down, the temperature down to about medium. And they're not going to brown at all. That's what blanching is. They cook, but they don't brown. So they're going to get tender and soft and kind of flimsy almost after about 5 minutes. Don't do this over 5 minutes or 6 minutes, please, because you're going to end up cooking them. So um, we're just we're just blanching them right now. So we're going to take them in and out and then drain these, and after they're drained, we turn up the temperature on the fire on the skillet, and we're going to turn it all the way up almost to the very highest temperature. Because what you want to do is you want to get the outside crispy and brown, golden brown, just like your fish is. And just to tell you the actual what you can use, you obviously can use ketchup, but in England they use malt vinegar on their chips, and that's a must for them. So they also you eat it with mushy peas. So we're not doing that. We eat ours with coleslaw mainly, and that's what we do over here. So I love that. So we got our own techniques as well. Now we're going to cook this probably for about 2 to 3 minutes on high to let them get crispy. So this is the second fry. And then once they come out of there, they'll be ready to plate. We're going to plate it, and it's going to look gorgeous on the plate as well. But more importantly, everything's going to taste right. So we really appreciate you taking the time out of your day, watching our videos, subscribing, and hitting the notification buttons and all those things we ask you to do. Um, but right now, we're going to let these fry off a little bit more, and we're going to take them off and show you the money shot at the end here. We really appreciate it. This was very good. I wish you could try it and put it into your rotation. So go ahead and drain these off. And again, what you want to do is make sure that you salt them immediately as well. I mean, you don't want to oversalt anything, but this requires potatoes can take the salt. You know that. And so we'll take these out. It doesn't seem like a lot of chips, but they're enough. They're really thick, so it's enough for the family. And then what we're gonna do is plate it. Thank you.